Hello, everyone. It's Ryan at Dark Winter Moon in Boston, and today I wanted to talk to you about the magic around creating sigils. I have been familiar with sigils and sigil making for years, but it wasn't until I picked up this book, Chaos Protocols, by Gordon White, that I decided to actually attempt one of my own. White's explanation of how to create sigils is simple and straightforward, and really made me feel confident and empowered to do my own. I didn't really realize it when I started reading it, but an interesting side note about Chaos Protocols is that it has a financial component to it. So I started reading the book May of last year, 2019, and I had been trying to sell my house for months. I was just following my intuition that it was time to read the book. Taking inspiration from Chaos Protocols, I decided to create a sigil. I took the phrase, "I sell my house," and turned it into a sigil. I really needed to sell my house and was happy to let it go for what I owed in it. It had been on the market for months, but within a few days of completing the sigil, my house sold for exactly what I had in it. I even ended up making about $700 on it unexpectedly due to the title company having made a slight error in my favor. So why do sigils work? How do they work? I think that it has to do with providing a framework for focused intent. By taking the time to decide on a simple phrase, representing your intent, you are starting the process of refining that intent down into an essential energy. You then take out all the vowels of the words, leaving you with just the consonants. This further distills and focuses your intent. Finally, thinking your phrase and feeling your intent, you take those essential letters and you work them together into a new and singular sigil, embodying the focus energy of that intent. I also believe that the hypothesis of morphic resonance, created by the biochemist Rupert Sheldrake, comes into play. Sheldrake's website, sheldrake.org, defines morphic resonance as a process whereby self-organizing systems inherit a memory from previous similar systems. Even though sigil making isn't technically a self-organizing system, that idea of sigils inheriting a memory from previous systems holds true. What I mean by this is that sigils take the meaning and energy of the system of words and letters that make them up. They also mix in the energy of your intent and your actual labor as you fashion them. Because they are essentially letters and words, and not completely imaginary symbols, the energy and long history of those words that make them up add to the power of the sigil. Another factor of morphic resonance that comes into play is the idea that creating something for the first time takes more energy and effort because there's no history of a morphic field to continue to, or to add to the creation of that item. There's no precedence. I've noticed that my very first attempt at creating a sigil is usually crap, but as I try to draw it over and over again, it starts to refine itself and become easier. Finally, there is a point where all of a sudden, it's like the energy, intent, and morphic resonance all lock into place and finally coalesce into a final sigil. There's this feeling of rightness to it, and I just know that I have finally created the sigil that embodies my intent. Once it's finally drawn, then it becomes much easier to draw it again, over and over again. Another reason that I love sigils is that they turn out to be a language all their own. I have always been fascinated with languages. I'm a total geek about it. I've even created my own called Draenei, with its own grammar, vocabulary, syntax, and written characters, so I guess in some way I have been sigilling for longer than I thought. Sigils like languages are a way to convey meaning, with the extra twist of focusing that meaning, empowering it, and using it to create a magical outcome. For me, sigils also provide a creative and artistic outlet. I've always been artistic, but never fully pursued that aspect of my creativity. I love it that I can use sigils to share beauty in the world, to have the sense of satisfaction that comes from creating something unique and expressive. There's a feeling of completeness and rightness to the process, and I recommend it to all those that want to realize change in their lives and do it in a way that is direct and satisfying. Well, everyone, I hope that you've enjoyed my video today. I know it's a short one, but I feel that it's a great way to encourage you to explore sigils and to give you a little bit of information about how I think they work. If you've enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, ring the bell so you can be notified of my next videos. And as always, blessed be.